Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel where we discuss activity that goes on here with the channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue. I want to thank all of you guys here on YouTube as well as New Tech for your continued support.
We start things off from ABC 7, New York, New York. First cell phone call successfully made 50 years ago by Motorola engineers. Wow, it's hard to believe it's been 50 years. On April 3rd, 1973, Martin Cooper stood on a sidewalk on 6th Avenue in Manhattan with a device the size of a brick and made the first public call from a cell phone to one of the men he'd been competing with to develop the device. I'm calling you on a cell phone, but a real cell phone, a personal, handheld, portable cell phone. Cooper, then an engineer at Motorola, said on the phone to Joel Engel, head of AT&T-owned Bell Labs. While cell phones would not be available to the average consumer for another decade, anyone walking by Cooper on the street that day could have seen history being made. Quite extraordinary to think that these kind of things sometimes are out in plain sight, or just in your daily life, the things that you may overlook. Just going about your regular day, just assuming that the lights will come on and the water will be turned on and the car will start and all these sorts of things. We kind of take these little tiny things for granted, or even observing things in our environment that are going to change us in the future. In the 50 years since the first cell phone, Cooper's bulky device was evolved and been replaced by a wide range of thinner, faster phones that are now ubiquitous and reshaping industries, culture, and the way we relate to one another and ourselves, which is obviously true because it has kind of revolutionized our country. One could say it's almost similar to the internet. But while the vast reach and impact of cell phones may have caught some off guard, Cooper said the possibility that mobile phones would one day be deemed essential to much of mankind was clear from the start. So Cooper was ahead of his time. Well, he was just converting regular phone service into one that was a portable cell phone service. And of course, phones back then like that, like the one he's carrying, were thousands of dollars. But another interesting thing that you guys may not remember, so I'm going to refresh you, back in the day in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was talk about this new invention that was going to also be the latest, newest, greatest invention since you could say the cell phone, sliced bread, and the internet. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's the Segway. The Segway vehicle, or the two-wheeled self-balancing personal transporter invented by Dean Kamen and brought to the market in 2001 as the Segway HT. So you guys may remember this, but I remember it specifically because just being a tech guy in the late 90s and early 2000s, I was keeping up with all this kind of stuff. And the Segway was going to be, like I said, it was going to be like the next sliced bread, the next cell phone, the next internet. It was going to be like the total revolution of our transportation within our culture. And cities were going to build little walkways, and we were just going to have these Segway trails and so forth all over the country, which is kind of interesting to see that it didn't quite turn out the way maybe they would have anticipated with the Segway. But it's interesting how these things impact our culture. And you guys know, if you are a cell phone owner, how that has maybe perhaps changed your life. The fact that so many people carry these around, they're constantly looking at them at all times, especially when you go to a doctor's office or an appointment, or you're on the train, you're on your bus, you're on a plane, you're somewhere where you're not engaged in some activity, you're probably looking at a phone, or someone is, or even filming with a phone. But it's amazing to think that it's been 50 years since the very first call was made, and probably no one would have known what was actually going on. People may have thought, well, okay, maybe it's some kind of communication device, because radios like he's holding there are very similar to, they've been around for a while, particularly in the military, right? The wireless types of radios and stuff that they would use back in the day. So it wasn't like it was anything unusual or out of space or futuristic that people would just be awed about. But I think it's just kind of fascinating. And I believe in the article, as I read a little bit later into it, is that he was going to reproduce that same phone call on his 80th birthday, I believe it was. So I just thought it was kind of an interesting little story to share with you guys this Friday as we continue to move forward here on the channel. Obviously working our way towards getting re-monetized once again. So your guys' support is greatly appreciated when it comes to the likes and the shares. And of course, as I mentioned in the closing, that you can always stop by below the videos and see the various links to my that would be my Amazon influencer page, where you guys can go ahead and just, if you're using Amazon, make your orders. If you're watching your shows and so forth on Prime, go ahead and feel free to just use it from there. And you're using your regular access, and it helps provide to the or it helps provide and contributes to the channel. And that's what I have for you guys this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you so much, you guys on New Tech as well as here on YouTube, for the likes, the shares, and the comments. All you guys do is greatly appreciated. And below this video, you can help out the channel by utilizing the Amazon influencer links down below if you guys want to help out the channel a little bit. And of course, your continued support is always appreciated by the likes and the comments and the views that you guys bring here to the channel. And I'll see all you guys right there behind that camera next week.